Have you ever heard of a town that vanished? Not slowly over decades of decline, but deliberately scrubbed from the map by the very government meant to protect its people? Today, we're journeying to a place that officially doesn't exist. A ghost town with a radioactive secret. Welcome to the story of Centralia, Pennsylvania. Wait, not Centralia? You're right. While Centralia's mine fire is a famous story, we're going somewhere even more obscure, a place whose erasure was far more calculated and absolute. Let's travel back to the height of the Cold War, a time of paranoia, nuclear ambition, and unprecedented scientific discovery. In the 1940s, the United States was locked in a race against time, a secret project that would change the world forever, the Manhattan Project. To build the atomic bomb, they needed vast, isolated tracts of land, places where they could conduct top-secret work far from prying eyes. This is where our story begins, in 3 separate, unsuspecting communities across the country. In the sweeping plains of eastern Washington, the U.S. government quietly began acquiring over 500,000 acres of land. This included the small farming towns of White Bluffs and Hanford. Imagine living a peaceful life, working the land your family had for generations, only to receive a notice in the mail. You have 30 days to leave. Everything. Your home, your farm, your community, your memories, it all had to be abandoned. The government offered compensation, but how do you put a price on your entire world? Residents were told it was for a top-secret war effort. They had no idea they were making way for the Hanford site, the massive plutonium production complex that would fuel Fat Man, the bomb dropped on Nagasaki. The towns of White Bluffs and Hanford were dismantled, bulldozed, and effectively erased. All that remains today are a few relics, like an old bank vault standing alone in a field, a silent monument to a community sacrificed for the atomic age. But this wasn't an isolated incident. Thousands of miles away, in the valleys of eastern Tennessee, the same story unfolded. The government identified a secluded area perfect for another crucial part of the Manhattan Project. This time, they needed to enrich uranium. To do this, they seized the land occupied by several small, tight-knit Appalachian communities, the most prominent being Scarborough. Again, families who had lived in those hollows for generations were given mere weeks to pack up and leave. They were displaced from their homes, their churches, and their cemeteries. In their place rose a secret city, a place that wouldn't appear on any public map for years: Oak Ridge, Tennessee. The community of Scarborough was paved over, its legacy buried beneath the sprawling K-25 and Y-12 uranium enrichment plants. For the people who were forced out, it was a profound loss, a disconnection from their roots that echoed for generations. Our third and final location takes us to the high desert of New Mexico, near a little place called Los Alamos. Here, the government didn't just take over a town, they took over a private boys' school, the Los Alamos Ranch School. This esteemed institution was known for its rugged, outdoor-focused education for boys from wealthy families. In late 1942, the school was informed the U.S. Army was taking over the property for the war effort. The students and faculty were sent home, and the campus was rapidly transformed into the central brain of the Manhattan Project. This is where J. Robert Oppenheimer and his team of brilliant scientists would live and work, designing and building the atomic bomb itself. The ranch school's buildings became labs and dormitories. The quiet, educational atmosphere was replaced by the frantic, secret energy of nuclear physics. The town that grew around it, Los Alamos, became one of the most secure and secret places on Earth. So we have White Bluffs and Hanford in Washington, Scarborough in Tennessee, and the Los Alamos Ranch School in New Mexico. 3 distinct places, 3 communities dismantled not by disaster, but by decree. Their existence was a casualty of the Cold War, a footnote in the grand, terrifying narrative of the atomic age. Why were these specific places chosen? Secrecy and resources. They needed isolation to keep the project hidden. They needed access to massive amounts of water and electricity. The Columbia River for Hanford, the TVA's hydroelectric power for Oak Ridge, and they needed space, vast buffer zones to contain their dangerous and revolutionary work. The people who were displaced became known as patriotic refugees. They made a sacrifice for their country, though most never knew the true nature of that sacrifice until years later, when the bombs were dropped and the secrets of the Manhattan Project were revealed to the world. Their stories are a powerful, often overlooked part of American history. They remind us that progress, especially in times of war, often comes at a hidden human cost. Today, these areas are a strange mix of history, science, and environmental concern. The Hanford site is now the focus of one of the world's largest environmental cleanup projects, dealing with the radioactive waste left behind. Oak Ridge is still a hub of scientific research, and Los Alamos remains a major national laboratory. But if you look closely, you can still find the ghosts of what came before. An old photograph, a forgotten foundation, a story passed down through a displaced family. These aren't just erased towns. They are legacies of a generation that was asked to give up everything for a future they couldn't even imagine. Their story is a crucial reminder of the unseen sacrifices that shape our world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into America's hidden history. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into forgotten stories. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of any other erased towns. See you in the next video.